What really went wrong in Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's marriage? For nearly 20 years, they were Hollywood's golden couple. Every public appearance told the same story: love, devotion, stability. They smiled, they posed, they held hands. The perfect image. But sometimes the most dazzling appearances hide the darkest cracks. And behind those flawless smiles, something quietly, dangerously, began to unravel. What really went wrong between Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban? Was it a slow drift or a sudden, irreversible fracture? And who, if anyone, controlled the narrative that would eventually explode into headlines? The world believed in them. Magazines branded them one of the last true Hollywood love stories. Fans, journalists, even fellow celebrities bought into the picture. A couple untouchable, untarnished by the scandals that consume so many around them. But appearances, as always, can be deceiving. The silence that sparked speculation. By early summer, a hush fell over the couple. Red carpets went unattended. Concerts passed without Nicole in the front row cheering Keith on. Social media, once filled with photos of shared smiles and public declarations of love, fell silent. For over 3 months, no official word came. This was not reconciliation, it was preparation. A silent storm brewing behind closed doors. Divorce lawyer Christopher Melcher explains, silence rarely signals reconciliation. It usually signals strategy. Legal teams, PR advisors, and family negotiators working overtime behind the scenes before the world ever hears a word. And in Hollywood, that silence often becomes a weapon as much as a shield. A marriage once untouchable. For nearly 20 years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban built an image of stability that seemed untouchable. From award shows to magazine covers, their relationship was portrayed as an unshakable bond. They weren't embroiled in scandals, public fights, or messy breakups. The world believed their love story was real, timeless and unbreakable. But then suddenly the smiles disappeared. Nicole stayed home with their 2 daughters, quietly holding the household together. Keith, meanwhile, became physically absent. The silence fueled speculation, and rumors began to swirl. Had something cracked behind the scenes? Was this just a temporary drift, or the beginning of the end? The PR battle behind the scenes. When TMZ broke the story, sources close to Nicole were first to speak. This was no accident. The timing suggested a carefully orchestrated narrative, positioning Nicole as the parent holding the family together. Keith's side remained silent, but silence is strategy too. Experts warn that in celebrity breakups, the first narrative to stick often shapes public memory permanently. Every leak, every whisper, is a move on the chessboard designed to test the public, shape perception, and control the story before it spirals out of control. For fans, the sudden absence and whispers created a sense of disbelief. How could the couple who seemed so inseparable be drifting apart? And if the separation had been months in the making, why were the headlines only surfacing now? The answer lies in preparation, negotiation, and strategy, elements invisible to the public but critical behind the scenes. The weight of family. Sources report that Nicole did not want the separation. She has been holding the family together, caring for their 2 daughters while Keith was away. But insiders say she also prepared to reveal something personal and final, a statement that left Keith blindsided. Months of absence, emotional strain, and responsibility carried by one partner created cracks that even love could not bridge. Keith's emotional vulnerability has always been part of his appeal, but this separation required a new kind of resilience, one forged in legal meetings, PR strategy, and public speculation. The same gestures of love that once enchanted fans now carry a sense of tension, as if each moment was part of a narrative slowly unraveling. custody and the children. The stakes are even higher for their children. At 14 and 17, the daughters face a rare and challenging dynamic. One is still tied to strict custody schedules, while the other may have a voice in her living arrangements. Hollywood divorces rarely allow children privacy. Every decision is scrutinized, every move amplified. Nicole's composed image may give her an edge, while Keith's vulnerability can attract sympathy or criticism. The narrative that sticks will shape how the public perceives them for years to come. Nicole's experience and strategy. Nicole has walked through this storm before. Her divorce from Tom Cruise in her early 30s was a global spectacle. Paparazzi camped outside. Tabloids dissected every action. Back then, silence became her greatest weapon. Today, she is no longer a young actress swept up in public scrutiny. She is an Oscar winner, a mother, a seasoned professional who knows exactly when to speak, when to leak, and when to remain silent. Her experience now gives her control over the narrative, leaving Keith navigating uncharted territory. In the chess game of Hollywood breakups, Nicole seems several moves ahead. Keith's vulnerability is real and relatable, but it can also leave him exposed in the eyes of the public. Every leak, every sudden detail is a test. Whose story will stick? Whose version of events will the world believe? The tipping point. Insiders suggest the tipping point may have involved trust, distance, or personal revelations. Nicole reportedly disclosed something final and personal, enough to end the marriage despite her initial desire to save it. Keith, blindsided, faced the reality of a love story he thought was secure suddenly shifting beyond repair. And for the daughters, the emotional fallout is immediate and unavoidable. The bigger picture, Hollywood divorce as strategy. In Hollywood, divorces are rarely just personal affairs. They are battles fought in the public eye. PR teams, lawyers, and family negotiators work tirelessly to control perception. Leaks are floated intentionally to test public reaction. Silence is strategic, and history shows that the first narrative to capture hearts and headlines often defines public memory. Nicole, seasoned by past experiences, seems to understand this instinctively. Keith's vulnerability, while genuine, exposes him to the pressures of perception management. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, once a symbol of Hollywood love, now a case study in strategy, control, and perception. The truth behind their separation may never be fully revealed. What the public remembers, what sticks in headlines, and what defines their legacy will depend on strategy, silence, and carefully crafted whispers. And while fans watch and speculate, the real story unfolds quietly behind the scenes. A story of love, loss, and the high-stakes game of Hollywood narratives. If you found this Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's marriage revealing, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more behind-the-scenes celebrity stories. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you think Nicole's strategy gives her the upper hand? Or could Keith still turn the narrative around? Stay tuned, because in Hollywood, the story is never over.